You're listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers. Presented by CMH Heli-Skiing and Fat Tire Amber Ale.
Isaac, welcome to the podcast, man. We did it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, my pleasure. The reigning Freeride World Tour champion, Issac Freeride. Do you introduce yourself like that? I would.
Yeah, just going around at the bar. There's no bar because obviously Corona. But
let's start. Way to start the episode off on a bummer, man.
Yeah.
What have you been doing these days? What have you been up to? Where's home for you? Where are you sitting right now?
I'm in Bozeman now. We just moved up here, my girlfriend and I, last week.
Oh, just super fresh.
Yeah, super fresh. So I've been just kind of become familiar with the area and surroundings at the moment. Not a whole lot of snow up here, so I haven't been skiing too much. But that's given me time to do some other stuff, like get prepared for the season and whatnot.
Did you you've got the Christmas tree up already? I guess the first week was just unpacking and figuring out where which cupboard the dishes go in and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Got some furniture. I just built this table that the computer's on this morning.
IKEA?
Yeah. So
which one is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's
the Flugen?
It's not actually, it's like some Amazon basic table.
As long as it works, man.
Yeah,
it's holding the computer. So you just moved. Why did you choose Montana? You're from where originally? Actually, I don't even know where you're from. I should know this.
I'm from San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah,
that's cool. Then I need to hear this. I need to hear the story, man. Were you skiing Big Bear? Is that like the closest to San Diego or what?
Yeah. Let's see. So around when I was 8 years old, my family went on a vacation up to Big Bear. And I just loved the snow and loved the amount of skiing that we did and everything about it. So I just told my parents that I want to keep doing this. And they put me in the developmental ski team up there, the Snow Summit D team is what they call it. And we would go on the weekends and I worked my way up to the race team there. And yeah.
Pretty simple. Yeah. Step 1, step 2, step 3. How far away is the hill from where you're at, from San Diego?
From where we live in San Diego, it was like a 3-hour drive.
Oh, that's not too bad. But did you go every weekend? Did you have a house there?
We went I was all about skiing and I still am, but we went every weekend. And then my parents decided that if we're going to keep doing this, it's going to be cheaper just to get a house up there than to keep paying hotels.
Yeah.
Every weekend. So they did that, which was awesome. Super grateful.
No doubt, man.
For that.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Do they still have the place there?
Yeah, they do. It's just a rental now.
So you can just be hey, I'm going to be, now that you've become a Freeride World Tour champion, is that a resort that you'd actually want to ski at?
I like to try and make it back once a year. It's fun skiing anywhere for a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. That's a good point.
But they also have super dope mountain biking in the summer, which is cool.
Are you big into biking too?
Decent.
I tell people that I love skiing and I like mountain biking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of those things where it's not my life. It's not we were actually making fun of some of the mountain bike cooks the other day because we were walking through the woods behind my house and we've had a little bit of snow on the ground, but not enough to stay for the winter. The kind that's kind of maybe going to melt, but maybe will stay. And then you walk through the forest and there's patches of green moss and there's little bits of snow lying around and that sort of thing. And then you see bike tracks through like the hard packed trails that people are riding. You're like, what are you doing? Like, it's not bike season anymore. If you're a biker and you're listening to this, I'm calling you out, you kooks. But I also respect the the froth, the enthusiasm. That's probably a better word. I respect the enthusiasm for sure. Sure. So you just like, go ahead.
I kind of got like a rotation of summer sports between like climbing, mountain biking, and just like running, I guess.
You're a runner.
Well, like free runner.
Yeah. So kind of like, it's like I need to get ready for ski season, so I'm gonna maybe do some running. That sort of
jump
thing.
around, do some flips, run a little bit.
Do you do like parkour flips?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so I wanted to kind of get into that eventually, but we can get into it now. So I think one of the first moments I'm a big fan of the Freeride Tour, as you know. I think we met and chatted briefly on one of the stops last year, Golden or Fieberbrenn. But I think one of the first moments I really took notice was it Andorra. Your start in Andorra, was that was it that comp? Where you did like, what was it? A Misty 5 back, like switch Misty 5, or was it just like a switch backflip 540? Yeah,
I just call it a switch underflip, but you can call it like a switch Misty 5 too.
Yeah. So that was like, so if you haven't seen this, people, if you can go to the Freeride World Tour website and like watch this. He basically just cruised in switch, and you can hear Foose and Neil going like, what's he doing? And then like starts off the comp with a trick that with a trick that probably no one's really even attempted. You know what I mean? Or even like the difficulty of it.
Yeah.
You know, usually
it's not super popular nowadays. No, it used to be a couple years back, but
on the Freeride World Tour?
No, just in general.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for Freeride World Tour stuff, I think you're kind of going to be the guy who's going to start pushing it forward if you already haven't, right? Like you won in your rookie year, which is pretty exciting, right? Yeah. with stuff like that. So, you know, Freeride World Tour, a lot of the skiers are like, you know, point it straight, fast, and big as possible. But in the last couple of years, you know, those backcountry style tricks are starting to bleed into the sport because they have to, right? It's good to like launch a cliff that everyone else launches. But if you can do something add a little flair, add a little style, add a little difficulty with something like that, it's going to take you a long, long way. Right. So how many people have done a switch trick in a comp at the Freeride World Tour, like on skis? I don't know of any other ones. Do you?
Yeah. I mean, someone, I'm blanking, did a switch 5, and Marcus has done like the nose butter, which is kind of switch 180 off the takeoff, but nose butter 3. So switch tricks have been done, but there's not a whole lot of them.
No, exactly. Right. So you're going to set the new standard. So was this something you had in mind as like a strategy? Like if I pull this off, that's going to be this many points. Do you think about it that way? Or are you just like, I'd be sick to do this. Check it out.
Well, in general, my kind of skiing style, or how I like to describe it, is just finding like tricks to do in scary places. It's kind of like how I get my enjoyment out of skiing. So if I can find a fun place to do a trick, like I'm all about it. But that one specifically, I had thought about that a year prior when when Andrew Pollard did the 3 off that entrance in the year before. I saw that. I was watching it live, and I saw that, and I was like, that would be the perfect spot for a switch overflip. And lo and behold, you know, I was given the opportunity to be there for the same event a year later, and yeah.
So this is in the back of your mind for like a good year.
Yeah.
Like if I make it there. So it's like it's like the, you know, if I make it to the Freeride World Tour, and then you're like, oh, I'm on it. Was that one of the first things you thought about? It's like, I can't wait to get to this Andorra comp.
Well, yes, because Andorra is like a more playful area than a couple other other venues, but we also weren't sure what venue we were going to be on in Andorra until almost the day before, I feel like.
Were you like
a couple
lobbying?
days
You're like,
before.
come on.
Well, yeah. What? I mean, so the conditions were pretty icy, and we were looking at one face that was bigger that people had competed on before, that might have better snow. But then a storm came and kind of loaded that face funny, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was enough snow to cover a lot of the ice on the face that we did compete on. So yeah, I try not to like hope too much on the face. I try and just like take it as it is.
Yeah, like what's your like approach process? Like obviously you've done, you made it to the Freeride World Tour through the qualifier circuit, right? But this is your rookie season, man. Like, and you ended up winning. How do you think your approach might be different from others, or why do you think you ended up finding that success? Is there something like, are you like, how do you approach, what do you think your reason for success is? If I can put you on the spot, I know it's a heavy question.
Yeah, it's a heavy question, and I think there's a lot of answers to it. I've had, a lot of good advice from the other competitors and coaches and friends, which is kind of help you in that mental game. Because really, like, all the athletes could potentially win on the tour. It's really a lot about that mental game when it comes down to it on competition day. But I've learned to just play to my strengths and not like hold on to any one feature or one idea that you have too much.
Except for like one or two, like decent point.
Yeah. Well, if it works, it works,
Yeah.
But like if the takeoff wasn't there, then, or if, it didn't work for some reason.
So if you're rolling into something like that, right? And then you're like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, the takeoff's not there, but I'm already facing the wrong way. Like, what do you do then? Are you able to like just adjust that quickly on the fly? Or it's like, well, I may as well go for it.
So in that particular case, we kind of hiked up like right next to that cliff. So I could get a really good close-up view of the takeoff there.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew like once I inspected it from like the binoculars below, and then from like looking at it above from just like, pretty close, like it went as far as I was concerned at that point. So
Yeah.
like there was no turning back once I hit switch. But generally when I'm rolling into, other features, like further down on that same run, I did like a scream and seaman off an air that I was supposed to 3. But there was like an ice sheet kind of on the top of it. And I came in and like was going to set 3, but saw that ice and like didn't know if I didn't want to get bucked and like fall. So I kind of decided to tone it down a little bit and then do the scream and seaman since I didn't know what else to do instead of the 3. But yeah.
Well, how do you, so I'll bring it right back. So you start off at like Big Bear, right? Skiing. How long were you there before you like started really skiing in other places? How old are you right now anyways? You're like early 20s?
25.
25. I thought you were 24.
Yeah.
Right. So you ski at Big Bear, you're growing up, like you're doing like the race program, you're doing all that kind of stuff. When do you get to the point where you're like, I need to do this all the time? Like when do you start entering contests and stuff?
So a couple of the older racers on the Snow Summit race team had moved up to Truckee and gone to Sugar Bowl Academy and their race team. And, being the younger kid at that time that I was, I saw that like ski academy, like how much cooler can it get? So after my first year of high school, I applied to Sugar Bowl Academy and got accepted and started going there.
And then, is
training
that
up
just
in
like
Freeride.
it's like a ski training? It's not like an academic school or anything.
It's like a college prep
Okay.
academy for skiers. Yeah, it's like I don't know, like the Park City team or.
It's amazing how many, like, this is something that was foreign to me until just recently. Like, it's amazing how many skiing schools there are, you know, whether it's high school or like we had Marcus Grainer on a couple of weeks ago, and he went to like space ski school in like the northernmost town in Sweden. It's like they're training to be astronauts, or like they're being groomed to be Swedish astronauts, but at the same time they're out hitting rails like on their days off. Like, and then like Chris Logan and like Parker White, they went to school in like upstate New York, which was like skiing focused school, and it's something I didn't really realize. I'm kind of wishing that I was aware of that when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I would have had no idea if, you know, some of my other teammates at that time had been exploring that kind of realm.
Mm-hmm. So what happens when you're at this program? Like, sorry, go ahead.
Well, they have this thing called a big mountain team, and you know, I've never heard of that before.
It's a little on the nose.
And but I joined for racing, and I see this big mountain team, and they also had Nordic skiing too. But I see the big mountain team, and I'm like, that looks kind of fun. Like, you know, we're training gates when it's snowing, and they're like skiing around, like hitting airs and doing flips. Like, I kind of like that. So I joined them halftime. I did halftime free ride, big mountain, and halftime racing, and just instantly fell in love with big mountain skiing there.
Is there not much of that at Big Bear?
Not a whole lot.
Never skied there, no.
No, we're like, it's a good snow year if you can ski off the groomer.
Yeah.
It's like
because it is quite far south, right? It's obviously Southern California.
Mm-hmm. But then I think my first comp at Alpine Meadows that year, I got second behind another Sugar Bowl athlete, Drew Hartley, that I was good friends with. And that was like when I realized, hey, like I can do this. Like I just got second and like racing, and like I wasn't like doing, you know, as good as that. And so I just made the full switch. And for the rest of high school.
So this was a high school thing. This wasn't after high school. This was like part of high school.
This is part of high school. Yeah.
Oh, no way. So what, you're like 16, 17?
Yeah. So I went there from my second year of high school through senior year.
What second year count as in the States? Like when I went to school,
like
it was
sophomore.
So when I went to the school, we had like different, the way it was set up was different. We'd do like kindergarten to grade 7, and it was like 8 to 10, and then it was like 11 and 12, and those were 3 different schools. So so how old would you be if you're like a freshman? Like 15?
So let's see.
14?
I would assume. So I graduated in 13, and that would put me at 18 years old. So just roll that back 4 years. So 16, yeah.
So So well, how old were you when you ended up? So
15,
how old were you when
16.
you ended up moving to Truckee?
I was probably 16.
16, and then how easy was that to like convince mom and dad? Like, I'm going away.
I mean, I definitely had to like. We like all sat down. I don't remember it super well, but I do remember it.
Because it went well. That's why. If it was a horrible experience for you, you would have remembered it for sure.
But they just wanted to know, like, that's what I really wanted to do. And skiing is what I really wanted to do. And more than anything else. And they were supportive of that. And, you know.
So how does that work then? Do you have to like, obviously have like a dorm room? Do you have like chaperones or like, how does everything work? So the school itself, you can dorm there, or you can just go there if you live in the area. But they had a dorm area that was part of the school. It's kind of all the same building. It was on top of Donner Summit, which was awesome. It's a great place to be in high school and live there, just with, you know, having that whole area behind you.
There's like cool mountains but yeah, we were in a dorm. We had one roommate in that room, and then we have dorm parents, which are also our teachers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. With like at that age, there has to be some sort of like supervision or whatever, right? I know like hockey players here in Canada, they'll like go to whatever town their junior team is in, and they'll get like a billet parent, right? They'll stay at like a family, like they're part of a family basically, and they'll get like the family will get a check to look after you. But a lot of them like will become part of their family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you feel that way with the billet parent, or like with the parents there, or what did you call them? Sorry.
This dorm parents.
The dorm parents. Yeah. Are they just like older kids or like?
No, they're like the teachers too.
Oh,
or weird. The coach. They would kind of rotate. Kristen kind of lived in the building as well through like a separate door. So she was like our dorm mom for like while we were there pretty much. But then, she wouldn't work every day. So there'd be different dorm parents like rotating in on whatever schedule they had. But yeah, I mean, we were a pretty tight community. I think the graduating class was the biggest ever that I was in, and it was 13 of us.
Huge.
Yeah.
Did you? I bet you knew like when certain dorm parents were on and certain dorm like would switch in and out. You knew what you could get away with a little bit more. Right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you guys get into any trouble? Obviously, when you're a teenager and you're away from home all of a sudden, and you don't have your parents there, it's easy to get into shenanigans.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's, a whole slew of stories that we could go into from here.
We might as well. We got an hour. What's one of those? What's a story you can tell us that's not going to incriminate you too much?
Oh,
did you guys like sneak out and like build rails in the middle, like build booters in the middle of the night, or like full moon missions, or like?
I would do that. But not like, I don't know. Obviously, they knew that we were like super active kids that like were here because we were super active. So as long as we like told them for the most part where we were going.
Oh, cool. So it wasn't like a lockdown situation, right?
It wasn't
like, hey,
full lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go and do this over here. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. It's just like you're at home, right? It's so whenever I think of like situations like that, I always think of like this super strict, like we have to know where you're doing and why you're there, and you have to have full on permission. But it sounds like it's more of a home, right? It's kind of like when you're telling your mom like, hey, we're going to go build a jump. Okay, dinner's at 8. Well,
it was kind of like, it was pretty strict. It was like, realistically, it was very strict. But, in one family per se, if you're gonna say like, oh, we're gonna go out and build a jump here off this 40 foot cliff, some people would be all like, no, like that's ridiculous. But here it's all like, okay, we know where you are, we know who you're going with, and we know that like skiing is something that you do, or like being active is something that you do. So they'd be okay with it as long as everything else was like, dialed. And if we were back late, or like if we weren't in the exact spot that we were supposed to be in, we would get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Did you get in trouble? Were you one of those kids?
Yeah, I got in trouble a couple of times.
Are you like a button pusher, rule breaker? What did you get in trouble?
I tried to be like quiet and like behind the scenes, but they eventually caught on.
What did you get in trouble for?
I guess this is a good one. So there's this road gap called the Old 40 road gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once I like kind of saw it and like learned about it and started like scheming, I was like, all right, we have to do this. So one day, it must have been in the fall, I told whatever dorm parent was on duty that I was going to go down to the bridge, which is like this arch bridge that's like pretty recognizable on Old Highway 40 there, and like go like hang out and go like look at the scenery or something. And they're like, okay,
just gonna
like,
go
I
for,
guess,
I'm just
like,
going
sure,
for a
like,
walk. Yeah, I'm just going for a walk to the bridge. Yeah.
So I go down there, and like the road like switchbacks pretty quick.
Yeah.
So like I was going to that location, and then I was going like off onto the rocks to go look at, because the bridge would be where you started, and then you'd ski down to get speed, and then air over the next switchback down.
Mm-hmm.
So I like was going down what would be the in-run in the winter, and like looking off the cliff, that would be the takeoff. And apparently one of the other dorm parents that just like happened to be like off their shift or whatever was driving down the road to go home, and he saw me on the edge of the cliff on the road. So he like called up at the like the main building, and apparently I got in trouble, which I don't know why I got in trouble. I was like not that far away from where I was supposed to be.
Yeah. Maybe they know. Did you ever end up hitting it?
I did. Yeah. So I had to get my parents' consent to hit it.
So basically they're like, what is he doing up there? You get in trouble.
So at that point, the secret was out. I was eyeing up the road gap. But yeah. And then like, so our big mountain coach had to be there, and I had to get like my parental consent. But it's like a big road gap. Like,
was that easy? Mom and dad.
It wasn't too bad.
I kind of got in trouble, and I need permission to do this. Like, all right, no problem. What are you doing? And then when you explain it, and they're like, fuck off.
Well, I mean, me being me, it's probably like, oh, I'm just like hitting this jump. It's like kind of bigger than normal, so they want me to get your consent, but like it's fine. Like I got it. So they're probably like, okay, like sure, I guess.
Are your parents like, obviously your parents are pretty cool, but have they gotten to points where they're like, oh dude, like when you're under playing something like that, and then they find out what it is, did they freak out or just shake their head, smack you on the back of the head? You're like, come on, man.
I mean, usually things go well. So like,
you got a good track record.
Yeah, I've got a good track record. I'm trying to think. One time I got injured. I don't know. No, I got a pretty good track record for when I'm asking my parents to do something.
That's good.
Very often.
And that's why they'll let you do something like move to like Northern California from Southern California. So I was looking at some of your bio stuff, and you've moved around quite a bit, right? I think I was looking at Freeride World Tour site. I think it said you lived in Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
So you went from San Diego to the Truckee kind of Squaw area. Why'd you leave there?
Well, I graduated and went to the University of Utah, which is in Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm. Do they just call that U? Do they call that UU?
U of U, yeah.
W. Is that what they call it? I don't know.
No, it's the U of U.
There's people listening to me like, you idiot.
U of U.
What did you study?
Computer science.
Oh, sweet. So are you are you utilizing any of that right now?
At the moment, the extent that I utilize it is for like my own website development.
Mm-hmm. Just like your own personal site, or do you like help friends?
And my own personal site.
Yeah.
No, I don't really help anyone.
Where can people find that? It's just Issac Freeland?
It's just IsacFreeland.com. Yeah.
Awesome.
I help sometimes. Like one of my friends, Noah Wetzel, he's a photographer. He like was redoing his site, and so I gave him like a couple pointers. But I don't do a whole lot of website stuff other than mine. During the summers in Salt Lake, I would work as in my field.
Just for like credits or like a internship,
just for like money. Just to pay for skiing.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Yeah.
And do you have to do? Are you able? I guess you don't have to do any of that right now.
I saved up enough from everything that's happened in the past. This summer, my girlfriend and I did like a road trip through Colorado, and then mostly through Colorado. We were going to go to California, but then it was kind of all on fire this year. So we kind of skipped that. But yeah, and then came here and then liked it here.
So you're just doing like a road trip, just cruising around. So Salt Lake for school, and then it's fascinating because like you're living in Truckee, which is right next to Squaw, which is one of like the meccas of skiing, especially in the United States. And then you go to Salt Lake City, where you've got Little Cottonwood Canyon and Alta Snowbird and everything else that, Utah has, which is also another like hub of skiing. And you're like, right. And then, so how is it something where you've just kind of gotten used to these hills, or you feel like you've experienced it and you're like, all right, cool. What's next? What else is there?
I don't think I'll ever get tired of the mountains around Truckee. I like love the way that terrain just is, I guess, like how playful it is, and just like the rock over there. But then, yeah, one of the reasons I came to Salt Lake was because I knew there was good skiing.
Is that why you chose that school? You're like, I could go to a bunch of schools, but that's the one I want so I can ski.
It wasn't really supposed to be, but it was probably a big factor.
A little serendipitous.
Yeah. I mean,
and then why didn't you stick around there? Like that's kind of what I'm getting at is like, I moved to Whistler when I was like right out of high school, and I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going to be. Right. I investigated moving to Revelstoke at one point in time. That's another killer mountain, but in Canada as well. So it's just like, why haven't you decided to like stay in the places that you were that had this amazing terrain and these awesome mountains and facilities and culture and community? What is it that's made you want to keep moving? Is there a thing?
I mean, obviously, like you said, all those places are awesome. But I feel like it's just been the busyness of it has been like a big factor for me.
What do you mean?
Like on the weekdays in like Little Cottonwood, it's like, you drive up. I try not to drive up on my own, like, or if I am on my own, like I take the bus up. But then you're up there and like something opens and you can like find, a secret stash of powder or whatever it is. And the way, or like go out and shoot with a photographer or something like that. But when there's a lot of people, it kind of just like makes it harder to do those things.
Yeah. You're not a fan of the
fullest.
Doesn't sound like you're a fan of the crowds or a fan of the game, which I've talked about many times on the show, which is like, every mountain, every busy mountain on a POW day has the game, the routes, like who's going to win, where am I going now? Where am I going after that, based on being able to get the most amount of fresh snow or the least amount of people or the best lines. Right. And it's a mad dash. And I can tell just by chatting with you now, you seem kind of like a little bit more, a frenetic pace doesn't really wouldn't seem to suit you.
Yeah. I mean, essentially the game is a good way to put it. But yeah, so I wanted to go somewhere, to move somewhere that was, might be a little less gamey, a little less traffic everywhere.
Little less crazy. You know what I mean? And then what? So you're just doing a road trip with your girlfriend, and then had you ever been to Bozeman before?
Yeah, I've been here. I always come through here in the spring because I love Cook City in the spring, which is like a dope mountaineering hub in the spring. In the Beartooth, there's just like an endless amount of peaks you can go work your way up and ski down. So I know these kind of like the far away-ish mountains around the city here.
And then you just like the town as well?
And the town's nice, yeah. And I like just like the vibe that the town gives off and the people give off. So, do
you know a lot of people up there? I know Tanner lives right nearby, and I know, like I mentioned earlier, but CeeLo lives in Montana. I think Wiley's up there now as well.
Yeah. There's a good amount of people up here in the immediate area. I mean, the Nichols live here, but I haven't actually seen anyone. I've been like texting a couple people, but like, I mean, I've been pretty busy.
You've only been there a week
like
too, I guess,
unpacking.
right?
Yeah. So like pretty fresh.
And it's kind of good too, because like the season's just about to get kicked off, right? And you know, a lot of people are probably just going to be staying put this season. You know, where they're going to be, where they are is where they're going to be, right? So you may have an opportunity to connect with some people that you may not have been with. Did you ever talk to Tanner about moving there?
Nope.
No, because I know
he's up. He's up. Like, I mean, he's not that close because he's up.
Is are his parents in Bozeman?
I don't think so. I think he's up by like Whitefish or something.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I might be getting confused.
Yeah.
It's like Montana is all right there. It's not.
Yeah. Pretty big.
Right. It's like, I guess it's like me saying like, oh yeah, Rubens is close to you, right? I'm like, well, he lives in Revelstoke. That's like a 7-hour drive away, but BC, I guess, like Canada, right? What are your plans for the Freeride World Tour? I know that you know, you want to, so it ended a little funny. You didn't get to, no one got to really shut it down on the back to Ross, right? You didn't get that final season. Oh, you're all good. Hi.
Yeah, someone's walking in. Says hi.
How's it going?
It's my girlfriend.
Hello.
Hi, how you liking the new house? No worries.
I don't think she can hear anything since it's in the earbuds.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Yeah.
That is what it is. So we were talking about you know, you didn't get to finish the last event, Freeride World Tour. So you were leading, so you are the winner. You know, I know some people are like, you know, Ari, same sort of thing. I was talking to her about it, and she was kind of choked that she didn't really get to prove it, even though she didn't really have much to prove. But in my opinion, you guys have already proved yourself up to that point. Do you know what I mean? But not having that last event must have been like frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty frustrating. Like, part of going to the tour is like skiing the Bec de Ross. And it's like, you know, you've looked up to it on the FWQs. Like, ever since you hear the tour, it's like, it's the original big competition venue and face. And like, it's this crazy thing that like, I've never even seen at this point, which is kind of crazy.
Did you not stick around, or did you have to bail out when you were over there? Did you have to get out of town? Because I know a lot of the athletes kind of stuck around waiting to see what would happen. But did you bail out?
Yeah, so I was in Innsbruck for a while, and then they were moving it up. So we drove from Innsbruck over there, and they canceled it the night we showed up.
Oh, dude, that sucks. So it must have been so frustrating. Like, it's bittersweet, right? Like, at the same time, like, we don't get to finish our season the way we expected to, but also you're like, well, but that means I won.
Yeah.
Right. You get the trophy, you get the big check. You don't get to like receive it on a big stage, but, did you get the trophy before you flew home, or did they have to send it to you? Do you have it there?
I don't have it yet, actually.
You what? You don't have it?
Yeah.
I'd start writing some emails, man. Like,
I know. I like put it at the bottom of emails, like subtly, like, hey, like, you know, is now a good time to send the trophy?
You can't. You just gotta be like, hey, can you send it, please? Here's my new address. Like, can I get this? Like, I really just want to look at it, take some pictures, send it. My new profile pic.
Yeah.
Or like,
well, so
I thought you were gonna say you signed your emails as like Issac Freeland, Freeride World Tour champion.
Well, no, so when Verbier got canceled, Nils, who won the snowboard field, and I came back on the same flight to the US. So, and he had his trophy since he was there at the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
That night. So I actually just like, we took a couple of photos with his trophy because they're the same.
Oh, does it not say like snowboard on the bottom?
No, it doesn't say snowboard.
Okay, there you go.
So we got like a couple just for like social media and stuff. But yeah,
he's another.
As far as I know.
He's another super smart guy. Hey, little scientist. Yeah. Do you guys have a lot of? Do you have like? I don't know if like computer sciences is your. I don't see it as being your identity, but like, do you guys have a lot of common ground when it comes to stuff that you've studied? You're both kind of like, I see you guys as almost kind of similar, like mirrors almost in a way, but just in different sports, right? You're both excellent riders, but you're also very technically able when it comes to like tricking on your feet. And you've also gone into like the, sciences, computer sciences kind of field as well. Do you find that kind of the same page?
Yeah. I don't know him super well, I guess. But I feel like he's always working with his hands a little bit more than I do usually, like fixing things in cars and stuff. I'm not really like, I look at engines and just like don't want to touch.
Yeah, fair enough. More of a keyboard guy, stuff. More of a coder. Are you like good? Like you like a expert coder? I
don't know about expert, but yeah, I do like coding. I like problem solving. I like those types of games. And like coding is that type of game. Just like logic problem solving.
Do you find that carries over to like when you're picking lines? Like when you're looking at a face and you're like, all right, what's my line going to be? Do you find parallels within that? Do you think you have an advantage because of that that love for problem solving or that experience with problem solving? Because when I look at a face and I try to think about what you guys are doing, right? You have to like reverse it in your mind, be like, I'm going to go down here, I'm going to find that tree. Oh, I got to go that way. Not that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think the thought process is super like similar, and then there's a lot of parallels that you can draw.
Do you think you have an advantage because of that?
I don't think it necessarily gives me an advantage because I see that thought process, even if like other athletes on the tour aren't like programming all the time. I see it in like other people's minds too. Like it's kind of just the evolution of like visual inspection and finding your way down the line. I think I might have picked it up quicker because I had that experience in the past, possibly, but I don't think it's like an advantage at this point.
How are you with a Rubik's Cube?
I mean, I know like the basic,
can you solve it?
Sequence. If I look up the sequence again, and get it fresh in my mind, I could, but I don't have that memorized. No.
Fair enough. What I was kind of getting to it earlier when we were talking about like traveling around and stuff. Like obviously you're going to be in Montana as much as you can, and we're just waiting to see what happens with the Freeride World Tour. I know unfortunately the Canada and Japan events have been canceled. So that brings us to Andorra in like the last week of February. Are you still planning on going?
Yeah, I'm still planning on going. I was kind of like, let's see, what's the best word for this? I was expecting the tour to kind of be in Europe this year, like all around. Like when they came out with, Japan and Kicking Horse, I was like kind of surprised. So I was like, this format that we have at this moment is kind of something that I was almost expecting, I guess. Just based on like other sports that have been doing that, just isolate themselves in Europe. It seemed like something that worked for the times that we're in. But yeah, I'm planning on going. I'm super stoked to go. I'm really looking forward to hopefully skiing the Beck this season.
Right. Fingers crossed.
But yeah, fingers crossed on that. But yeah, and until then, keeping myself super busy here and exploring the new area, which is something I love, exploring new zones and finding little things around here that I like to ski. So that's going to be fun too.
There you go. You were telling me that you've actually got a new business venture coming up as well, which is like a CBD product, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How did that come about? Tell me all about it.
Okay. So it starts with Blue Harvest, which is a CBD company, hitting me up about just trying. They have like this comfort balm is what they call it. And it's just, a topical cream that you can put on to anything that's sore. And it works super well. I liked it a lot. And then they had the idea of just saying like, hey, like, what would you change about this product? And I was like, that's a good question. Like, I've never thought about what I like in like topical creams or anything like that. But,
Yeah.
it's like kind of specific.
Me either. I've never.
Yeah. But then I started thinking about it. Like, what do I really like? And like, what ones do I not like? And what would I want if, all things were possible?
Had you used a bunch of CBD creams and stuff before?
I used to have a ton of issues with shin bang.
Mm-hmm.
So I've used everything from like Tiger Balm, Arnica, anything that you can buy at like a natural shop. Like
I wouldn't have thought of you being a big old backseat Larry skier.
Oh yeah. Growing up, I was like a huge backseat skier.
Well, it's also stomping too. Stomping at speed when you like, because it sounds like you're the kind of guy that went bigger than your strength was. Like you go bigger, and instead of like stomping because you have the strength for it, like when you're younger, you don't quite have the strength to be over top of yourself. When you land and you get away, you end up kind of right. I could see that happening from
Lots
a guy.
Of back slaps don't help for sure.
Yeah. Do you still have that problem? The chin bang?
Not as much
because of the CBD.
And when I do, yeah.
I'll let you get back to your story. Sorry for interrupting. Let you get back.
But Arnica worked really well for me. And the only other thing that I could think of was that I want something that you can put in your ski boots and that lasts all day. And you don't have to take your ski boots off to like reapply or something.
Oh, so it's like a during, not an after. It's like a preventative thing.
You can do both.
Yeah.
So it works as both. But yeah, so then Free Ski Arnica is what we came up with. And it's basically their original formula that worked for me in the first place. And then we just added more Arnica into it and changed the base of it so it lasts longer.
The base? What do you mean base?
Like
what houses the ingredients? Like the
forget what the original had.
Yeah.
But then this one's coconut oil and shea butter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a little slower absorbing into the skin.
And you definitely notice a difference.
Yeah. I can like feel it, you feel it just like, you would another cream. You feel it when you put it on. It's not menthol based. So it doesn't give you that like strong, icy hot smell. Which some
like
people
tiger,
some
like
people
the
don't.
Tiger Balm. Yeah.
Yeah. But you definitely like feel it. Like you feel like a little bit of like, I feel like a little bit of a burn and you feel it working. And I always use it because I've had knee surgery 4 times.
Whoa.
Foot surgery twice. So just after a long day of skiing, like before competitions, and if anything in my like feet or like shins hurt or anything, it's my go-to. And yeah, it makes it so I can ski hard the next day.
What made them did they tell you why they chose you to like reach out? Do you know someone in there, or is it just you're already reaping the awards of Freeride World Tour champion?
It's
notoriety.
Why did they reach out? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. They like my page. It's kind of been a reoccurring thing for me. I don't know why it happens, but last season I met a guy named Xander who hit me up on Instagram as well. And we ended up making this full documentary of last season for me. The tour and everything, training for the tour, which will be coming out at the end of this year.
Oh, what's it called?
It is called, I should know that.
That's all right.
It's something about risk, but I don't know. If you
and
follow me at Issac Free Ski, you'll see it because I'll share it everywhere.
Yeah, make sure you send it to us too, because we can post that up for you.
Yeah.
When do you think it's gonna be out?
Oh, calculated risk is what.
Calculated risk. Is that a play on the computer science?
It's a play on a lot of things.
Everything's kind of fallen into place. Yeah, it's a play. So did you come up with a name yourself?
We brainstormed the name.
Yeah.
Based on like what I kind of wanted to show and like how I ski and how I think about skiing and, everything that was kind of around the documentary.
It's kind of interesting because it kind of covers everything that we've spoken to up until this point, right? Mm-hmm. Already, just kind of a natural thing. So that's going to be, and does that go like behind the scenes, like your training and stuff? Is it going to be like did you watch Coach yet? Katie Burrell?
Yes, I watched Coach.
Yeah.
Not going to be as funny as Coach, I don't think.
not many can be really, but like, is it kind of similar where you kind of get a little behind the scenes? Maybe not quite as, it's a reality
little more
TV
like my history. It's going to I have some like old footage from skiing as a kid in there in Big Bear, like some interviews from my family and, skiing from before the tour and kind of behind the scenes on like how I choose lines and like why I choose them and how like I read the mountain done into the tour and then to the ending. Yeah. And
then you have the happy ending of like, look, everything works. This is how you do it. You could start a master class. You could like set up like like I just signed up for a 21-day hip yoga class because my hips and
hip loosening.
Yeah, just sitting on. I found that in the last couple of years, sitting on the chair here, in front of the computer, has just ruined my leg. Or like I have like no strength. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to go and do this yoga thing because this is going to help what I need, right? Whereas you have proven this is what you need to be a winner. Sign up for my masterclass.
It's a good pitch,
right? Even if it's like little YouTube clips or whatever, like maybe like a mindset thing. You never know. I haven't seen the movie yet. I just found out about this movie, which I'm looking forward to it already. And you said it might be coming out at the end of the season, at the end of the year here.
Yeah, we need we were supposed to get this like opening clip for it at the end of last season, and then it just ended up not happening for a couple reasons. But we want to get this opening sequence and then put that in, and then it'll be out.
Oh, so you need to film a little bit more of it, or
it just needs the intro. Okay. We had the super specific idea for the intro,
and you just have to wait.
But everything else is already edited and pretty much done.
Awesome. And then so you have to. So it's still kind of tentative, but you hoping to have it out by the new year, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I think latest January.
Okay, so in January, most likely.
But yeah.
Calculated risk. All right, I'm gonna pay attention to that because that'll be good, and we'll make sure that we pump that up for you again.
Yeah. Thanks.
Excellent. Have you talked to many of your other Freeride World Tour family about what to expect and what's going on? Is there? I know that it's a big family and everybody kind of has their own little crews. Like who are you tight with on the tour?
I mean, I've been tight with a lot of the Utah crew, like Andrew, Jacqueline, and the Nichols that are kind of now where I am. But we kind of had like a group message going. A lot of them wanted to just to move to Europe for the winter and rent out a spot for like 3 months or so. Which, I mean, like I said a little earlier, I kind of want to stay around and explore here. Now that we've low extra time too, pluses and minuses, silver linings.
Just tell them to save a spot on the floor for your thermarest or a couch, and
exactly.
When you make it over, you're gonna come and crash. Because I know some of the Kiwi athletes haven't decided yet either about whether they have to basically wait out and see what happens really before they make the call. Because that is what it is. You have to be in Europe for 3 months, I guess. I know a lot of the athletes have been bummed because they wanted to come to North America. Some of them wanted to come up here to Whistler, but they can't. It's like you're in that little purgatory, and especially right now because it's summertime for them right now, and they can't ski.
Yeah, but then they got their whole winter while we were here in the summer, So I mean, I don't feel too bad about them for that.
Kinda. It's not really the same though. You know, like have you ever skied in New Zealand before?
I have not.
Yeah, it's not really the same. It is, but
Yeah.
it isn't, right? You know what I mean? Like it's you can ski, but you're not really. It's like it's like a 3/4 season, not in length, but in like everything, in my opinion. People might be yelling at me, but it's not the same. Like you go down to New Zealand, you're like, this is cool. I like being down here, but you're not going to get everything you want out of what you need, if that makes sense. I don't know. Just go down there.
One day I'll make it down there.
Right. So what, so you've got, obviously got a new place. You've got, the trophy that you have to send an email for, and hey, Freeride World Tour, send the man his trophy.
Yes, please.
I wonder if like, if you don't pick it up, like you lose it. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you get
just put it forward to next year.
Yeah. Like, is it like you get it for a year and then have to bring it back at the end and give it to the new person? Like hand it over, like in the Masters, you gotta like give them you put the green jacket on the new person. Maybe you have to like hand over the trophy. You're like, I didn't even get to hang out with it and give it away. You're just gonna have to go win again. Just gonna have to go win again this year. Do you have any like ideas on, based on the runs that you've done on the venues you've already been to? Obviously, we talked earlier about that switch underflip 5, overflip.
Yeah.
Overflip.
I mean,
yeah, the cool. Yeah, sorry. See, I've never been good when it comes to like explaining the names for technical tricks. The thing you did, the flippy thing. Yes. So you obviously had that in mind for a year. Now that you've actually done the tour and you've been onto these venues, do you have like plans for this season coming up on like some of your runs?
I wouldn't call them plans, but I do have some ideas of how I saw other people ski the venues of places I could do other tricks. But I mean, it's so dependent on the snow conditions, even if we're on the same venue in that same area. So
who do you think is your biggest?
Anything too tight, but
who do you think is your biggest competition? Who do you look at and be like, ooh, like who do you pay attention to, like on the tour? And it's like, ooh, like I know personally, like looking at people like Craig Murray and even Marcus, even last year, Marcus's run before he crashed in Fieberbrunn last year was nuts.
Exactly.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, please land this. You know what I mean? Like, do you have guys or specific runs that you look at and you're like, okay, I need to, that's my comparison point.
Yeah. I mean, when Marcus drops, I'm definitely watching.
Yeah.
Everything that guy does is pretty insane. So definitely try and draw some inspiration from him, even though sometimes he does like stuff that just like is so far in left field. Like I didn't even see that was an option. And it's hard to like draw meaningful self-feedback from that, I guess.
You're like, I didn't even think that was possible. Like where
exactly. It's just like, okay, like, well, now that you did it, it's possible, but like looking at the throws beforehand, it's just all like, I don't even know.
Because that's all part of the learning process, right? Like you said, I said you've been there. That was your rookie season, right? So now you're looking at all of this stuff and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this, or maybe I can hit. So I'm excited to see what you come up with, right? Just seeing what you've done, like, yes. Show us, man. Are you going to be doing like another little video segment for this season? Obviously, you've got last year's stuff that's still to be released, but are you going to do like another project? Yes.
So this season, kind of drawing from a couple things. I don't know if you've seen La Liste, but that edit was something that I like really appreciated, and something that really spoke to me. And I think that idea of bringing like comp style lines to non-comp venues and just other areas around the globe, or in this case for this coming season around here, is really cool. It's a really cool idea. So I am working on a project this season to try and ski some of the classic or more classic lines, more recognizable lines around here in that comp style format, and trying to add those tricks.
A little more aggressive.
Yeah.
Exciting. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that too.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I like that too, because I've always been a huge fan of the Freeride World Tour just for the style of skiing that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see kind of people skiing faces like that, and it's a little more calculated, but and a little more reserved. Whereas if you can actually take that calculation and put it into the same sort of mindset, like that's interesting. I'd be interested to see how you approach that.
Well, so like, I mean, a lot of these like big mountain objectives have a lot of factors to them. And like, you know, you're worried about like, not only worried about avalanches, but like getting to the top, and like, you know, sometimes you have to climb in the ice when the ice is good so that you can come down. But then when you come down, the snow is not great for whatever reason, but it made the climbing really good. So finding these lines in like good conditions, like, I don't know, George Rodney is someone who I used to ski a lot with a couple years back.
The guy's a nutter. The guy goes so big. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, he goes huge. But, you know, he would talk about like these mountaineering objectives are so cool and like the skiing is so awesome. But like, imagine if you got it on like a money snow day, like just like the sick conditions that you get when you're riding like inbounds, or just like closer objectives that like aren't as like magnificent as like these prize lines. And like, yeah, it's like, it's true. It's, if you can get these great lines in great conditions, it's pretty amazing. So
I guess that's the benefit of being close by. So you can be there when it's right, or you can go and ski it a bunch of times. Right. And the more you do it, it's almost like you're practicing for it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go practice that line. I'm going to go maybe hit it from this end or hit it from that zone. Yeah, I guess it is kind of like hitting like resort skiing, right? Like you want to bomb down a line where you know every takeoff, every landing, every angle, right? But like transfer that into like a backcountry line.
Yeah.
And then just have it dialed in and ski it like you'd ski a comp. That's it, right?
I mean, that's ideal. But a lot of the times, you know, we get like max 2 laps on something just because of how hard it is to get to the top of.
You got a sled?
But, I'm really trying to get one sometime soon here.
There you go.
Sometime, a couple weeks, hopefully.
Nice.
Just gotta find the right one.
Right? Yeah. Take your time. She'll find you. She'll find you. What other than the Free Ski Arnica, which I will put up a link where people can look into that. It's Blue Harvest, right?
Yep.
And you'll have that on your website. Who else are you skiing for right now? Who are your sponsors?
So I kind of changed some stuff up this season. Black Diamond is someone who I'm skiing for this season, which I'm stoked on. And just recently, it's not quite public yet, but it will be when this comes out, is POC, which is cool too. And then Sego Ski Co., who I've been working with for the past couple of years. They've been designing skis that I love and taking my input. So stoked to continue with them and keep making dope skis.
Awesome, man. Any final words for the people listening out there?
I don't know. Hopefully when this comes out, we'll have more snow, but at the moment, pray for snow.
That's a good one. And wear your mask, people. People, wear your damn masks.
Yeah.
We want the mask. We want the mountains.
Nose.
Yeah, we want the mountains to stay open. Well, Isaac, awesome, man. It was good chatting with you. My goal originally was to get to Europe for an event or two this year as well, but we'll see. We will see. I'm not really sure if that's going to happen or not. You never know. So maybe we'll see at one of the events. If not, our paths will cross again one day soon, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and best of luck in becoming repeat champion. And Freeride World Tour people, send the guy his trophy.
Well, thanks so much.
You've been listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers. This has been a Redmark Media production.